Yo guys, how is it going? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're gonna talk about exactly how you scale this coaching back to making $20,000 with just an interest tag. Like we made all that with an interest tag. So today I'm gonna show you the exact strategy we use, the interests and also the creatives that we tested. Alright, let's get started with the video. Also, if you guys don't know me, I'm Abdullah from Sms Marketing. You have helped more than 60 plus coaching man scale from making $0 a month to making $100,000, more than $100,000 a month. So if you would want to scale your brand personally, we're taking 20 plus brands this Q4 and scale them from $0 to $100,000. So if you're interested, just show the code below, then we'll get back to you guys so that you can hop on a call and see what you can do for your brand. Alright, let's get started with the video. Alright, so as you guys can see, we're in the presentation real quick. I'm gonna show exactly what we did. Let's get started with creatives. Alright, so for creatives, you want to start with 3 to 5 unique creatives. Like, I'm not talking about any creatives. You have to start with creative that you have tested before and they are working for the brand. So you can't just go ahead and start testing with the interest tag. Like, you gotta work with creatives that are performing in the broad campaign, in the testing campaign that you have already tested them and they're 100% working. Creatives must be winners. Like, you can't just pick any creative, as I told you guys. After that, let's go straight to the interests. Alright, so as you guys can see, we gotta start with 3 interests. Like, you can't just start with, no, you can start with 1, but I'd say personally I prefer starting with 3 interests. Also, interest gotta correlate with your brand. Like, for example, your clothing brand, you can't just go and write Samsung as an interest and expect it to perform. Like, that will not perform for you guys. So you gotta work with interests that correlate with your niche, not just any interest. For example, if you're a clothing brand, you can go with Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada, stuff like that. Or since you're a streetwear brand, you can go with Chrome hats, Balenciaga, stuff like that. But you can't just go and pick any interest and expect it to work. Like, it has to correlate with your niche. So after you have found your 5 unique creatives that you want to test and also the 3 interests that you want to go with, then you move to the strategy. And this is where this is one of the most important parts. So personally for me, what I do is I'm gonna show you, like, I'm gonna show you guys how to do it in the Ads Manager. But personally for me, what I do is after I find my 3 to 5 unique creatives, then I make a new campaign. Start with 1 ad set. Like, with those 5 creatives, start with 1 ad set, start testing 3 interests in 1 ad set, but then I give it for 3 to 4 days. Then if it's performing, I can raise the budget. If it's not performing, then maybe it's the ads for I turn off the ads that are spending and they are not performing, or I'll bring a new batch of interests that are gonna perform. Also, one thing I want you to know is that it's not all brands that interest tags works for. Like, for example, out of the 60 plus content brands that I'm working with, some of the brands, like, interest tags don't work for them. They usually go better when it's cold or when it's a cold campaign, a broad campaign, not an interest tag. But for this brand, we made 40% of the revenue from interest tags. And one disadvantage of an interest tag is that it dies off really quick. So, like, you have to be testing many interest tags at one time, because before the one that's performing dies down, you already have another one that's gonna pick from there. So just keep testing. And one thing you have to do when you're running ads is that you have to keep testing, never stop testing. For us personally, we have a full creative team that prints creatives 247 for our clients. Like we test 10 to 20 plus ads a week. That way, creatives never dies down, even if this ad fatigues. Also, it's a rule for our clients that they must have at least 5 creatives weekly for us, 5 video creatives weekly for us that you can test. That way, we never stop testing creatives. Testing creatives is the most important part when you're running a clothing brand or when running ads. So we never play with testing. Alright, so enough VIP. Let me just go ahead and show you guys the campaign that we ran and everything. Let me close that talk real quick first. Alright, so I'm back, guys. Alright, get started with the ad campaign. Wait, let me roll up everything right now. Alright guys, so I've just hopped on the Ads Manager real quick and I'm gonna show you exactly what we made from this brand with this interest tags. I'm a load up from the 11th. Alright, so as you can see, guys, in the span of 40 days we made $20,000 with a 3.40x ROAS. Let me just go ahead and show you guys everything. As you guys can see, from this interest tag alone, we made $5,674 with a 3.55x ROAS. We spent $1,000 to get back $5,700, as you guys can see. And also for the second one, we spent $1,000 to make back $4,947. For this one here, we spent $1,280 to get back for $5,000. Alright, so as you guys can see, the 2 most performing assets are turned off right now because, as I told you guys, like, interest tags don't perform as doesn't last that much. That's the number 1 con of interest tags. Like, you have to keep testing and testing. But as you guys saw, we tested more than 20 different interest tags. As you guys can see, 20 ad sets right here. Let me put it when we started running it so that you guys can see the performance before you turn it off. You guys see it's at 3.4x ROAS. I'm gonna just call it a 4x ROAS. As you guys can see, it was performing a 3.7x ROAS, $1,000 to get back $4,000. But if we play from here to here, you're gonna see the performance went down like really to a 2.79x ROAS. That doesn't really matter overall, because if you switch it up to the maximum, it was a 3.57x ROAS. The number one thing when you're running ads is that you don't judge ads based on 3 to 4 days. Give it at least 1 week. And the interest tags is ASAP, Kanye, Drake, Travis, Tyler, and Young Thug. The number one reason why we tested this one is because most of these rappers, like all of their fans, usually rock streetwear, but as you can see, it's performing like crazy. We had a 3.77x ROAS. We got $5,000 from it. Also, here's another one that went crazy with a 5x ROAS. We made $2,000 with a 5x ROAS, as you guys can see here. Alright, so enough of showing all these results. Let's go ahead and show you guys how to create the interest tags. Alright, so as you guys can see, I made a new ad set. Like, you have to make a new campaign. I didn't make a new campaign because I already had one, but you have to make a new campaign. Call it interest tag, whatever you want to call it. Let's skip the name for now because I'm going to show you something. Alright, so you just leave everything as it is right there, but if you want to go ahead and switch the age, you can switch it. But for this brand, we're leaving the age and everything the same. Then you go here, for example, it's a streetwear brand, and also rappers, where you want to find 3 good rappers that you think correlates with the clothes and all. For example, I'll go with Drake. For example, Drake number 1. Then since Young Thug is trending right now, let's go with Young Thug. Then you can go with which artist should I go with next? You can go with Travis Scott. And after you have done that, the next thing you want to do is go to your testing campaign. You find 3 to 5 winning creatives that are performing the most. Then you duplicate them to your interest tag. Let me show you how to name it. So you just copy the rapper's name here. Then you go to your ad set. You name it. You just paste it so you guys keep track. Like, number one thing you need to do when you're running ads is that you need to keep track of what you're doing so you don't forget everything. Like, I think that's literally all. Then you give it a $30 budget. And if it keeps the $30 budget, you let it run for 3 days and it's performing, then you can scale it from a 30 to a 50. After you have scaled it from a 30 to a 50, the next thing you want to do is don't go ahead and scale it. Leave it like that. What I want you to do is horizontal scale. Then you add another ad set. Don't just forget about broad, because broad is where you can scale. Like, interest tag doesn't last that much. So I want you guys to focus on broad, but use this as a fuel. That's how we did for this brand. As you guys can see, for this brand, not gonna lie, we are focusing on interest tag. We spent more on interest tags than we did. No, my bad. I was wrong, because all of these campaigns were not interest tags. This was the only interest tag, but as you guys can see, this is the broad campaign. We spent $3,000 to get back $10,000 with a 3.43x ROAS. This is another broad campaign. This is our new broad campaign. We had to turn this off because the creators were getting fatigued and all. But there's another campaign here. As you can see, 3.28x ROAS. We got $5,000 from it. This wasn't really performing. It was for other products, but it wasn't really performing, so I had to call it off. These are a targeting campaign at $272 to get back $865. Just let me know if you guys will want a video for retargeting, and I'll get that video for you guys. For yesterday, as you guys can see, it was a $1.6 thousand day. We spent $300 to get back $1,600. This interest tag, with the interest tag we spent $100 to get back $546 with a 5x ROAS. With the broad campaign, we spent $150 to get back $600, and for the other countries campaign, we spent $60 to get back $400 with a 6.6x ROAS, as you guys can see. So if you would want to scale your brand personally, we're taking 20 plus brands this Q4 and scale them from $0 to $100,000. So if you're interested, just show the code below, then we'll get back to you guys so that we can hop on a call and see what we can do for your brand.